Hello, good evening, welcome to Easy 8 Online Painting Club. My name is Danny, says it right down at the bottom of the screen, and this is the online streaming live stream channel that you can come and paint your miniatures live with me and the rest of the community over there this evening if you want to come and do that. I'm a little thrown off by the fact that I've messed up everything as I came in. You probably saw me as a little sneak preview right at the beginning where I was kind of like just doing some stuff. It's because I hadn't set everything else up properly. I've been playing with some stuff in the studio over the last week. I put some new shelves up. I've had a good tidy up over there. I've installed some new software to try and make the sound better quality, to make the lighting better. And if you noticed, if I kind of move around, like my face gets really, really bleached out, and I can't stop it from doing it. I don't know what it is that I've done, so I've been playing around with stuff. And I'm desperately trying to catch up. So, welcome to the show. Yes, this is live. Yeah, it's rough around the edges. I'm just going to be painting some stuff this evening, and you are welcome to come along and paint along with me. Stafford and Jeff are both in the live chat there. Stafford saying, having technical issues? Yeah, just a little bit, but it's just another Friday. I hope you guys have all been well. If you're new to the show, this isn't a tutorial show or anything like that. There's loads of that stuff already out there. See, I've got a really bleached white face. It's crazy. It's supposed to be good software. It's not working for me. Yeah, you can find tutorial stuff out there all over the place. This is literally just somewhere where you can come along and paint live while I'm painting and these guys are painting, and make some friends and talk about it all, etc. If you're painting something this evening, I genuinely would love to know about it. I'm really into it. So if you are working on a project this evening, tell us about it. You can drop it over there in the live chat, or if you're watching it later on, or you're a little bit shy perhaps, you can always put it down there in the comments as well. We're not just here on YouTube, we're also on Facebook and on Discord, so you can catch us at the Easy 8 After Party as well. And there's links to all of those platforms just down there as well in the description. So go and check those out as well, because yeah, I'm not just here. I did a little like teaser, not a little teaser, just like a little freebie thing on Facebook where I just was painting my project for like an hour during the week. And it was just Stafford that came along, but people have watched it since and stuff. So yeah, I'm not just here on YouTube. You can find me anywhere. You can put pictures up if you're working on something. I'm like I say, genuinely interested. Would love to see what it is that you're working on. So pop pictures up all over Facebook. People like, it's probably like the most like well-used platform by the community is Facebook. So head on over there and have a look at the stuff that they're doing. Of course, we are now into our second week of Orktober, so if you are painting something for Orktober, come and tell me all about it. I've been painting Ghazghkull as a part of a challenge that I've had with John over at Out of This World Models and Minis. He's absolutely stellar dude and just has free agency to paint whatever he wants. He just likes stuff and he paints it, and we decided to collaborate and do Orktober together on the same miniature. Not the same miniature, because he's over in the US and I'm over here in the UK. He's doing his privately. He's actually not going to show me anything to do with his. He said so the other day in a little comment. So I'm just going to be carrying on working on mine over the next few weeks. I'm actually really happy with the progress that I've made so far. If you've come onto the show a lot recently, you'll know that I am a slow painter, self-professed slow painter. I can't help it. I don't know why, I just am. But it's coming on quite quickly. I was actually kind of getting concerned that I finished it too early. Like, I kind of wanted it to fit neatly into October. So I've just been sort of playing around with it and just experimenting with different styles. And I'm doing a little bit of, I say a little bit, it's probably about 50-50 now really, of slap chop, the technique slap chop. And in some places, in some ways, it's working for me really well, and allowing me to kind of cut some corners, because that's essentially what we're doing. But it's also, I don't want to do all slap chop. It wasn't really working for me in all the different areas of the model, which I'll show you in a minute. So what I'm able to do is kind of judge where it's useful, and then kind of do my normal technique or alternative techniques in and around that slap chop style, which is really good because it means that for other builds that I do, I know how to sort of use slap chop a little bit more now, so I can get the best of its effect, so that I can cut corners. Because, you know, I'm not like one of those guys where you, at all in any way, shape or form, where they paint something and you go like, is that real or is it a painting? I can't tell, because there's some amazing talent out there, and I am just not that at all. So being able to have a style that allows me to kind of cut corners, make it look really good, focus on other areas, speed up my painting process without really dropping the overall quality, is definitely something I'm interested in. And if I'm getting anything out of this project, it is, you know, having a go at another style. And that's something, I know it's not a tutorial channel, but if I was to give any advice to anybody, it would be, don't just kind of get bogged down in one style. Don't just paint everything the same way. I try to keep everything of one army or one collection the same or similar, and that's a tin of worms that I could open in and of itself. But you know, if I've been painting Tyranids, it's a totally different style to painting the Orcs that I'm now painting, and I think it's important to kind of make sure that we stretch our sort of skill sets, if you like, so we've always got something new to think about and new to do, and that's why I'm really enjoying this project so far. Like I say, if you are working on something this evening, do come and tell me about it. You can drop me a line if you like. If you like what I do here at Easy 8, and if you like the company that these guys are hopefully going to provide as well, then of course you can subscribe to the show. I've been getting a lot of subscribers lately. I'm really, really happy with the amount of subscriptions. It's absolutely fantastic. We're getting new likes on Facebook. I'm getting new subscribers on YouTube. But of course it doesn't stop there. Please do spread the word. Such a small gesture on your part, just to click that little button to subscribe, or go and tell a friend and they do it as well. And the rewards to me is a massive dopamine hit, and it really inflates my ego, so thank you very much. No, of course we want the channel to grow, we want the community to grow, so that we can share the wealth of talent, and it's the community, it's what it's all about, isn't it? So go, tell a friend, subscribe, thanks very much. Anyway, I'm going to take you straight over to the workbench now, because I don't want to waste any more time. Here we go. So yeah, I've been playing around with this software, and it's nothing special, but I've made the music more bassier in my headset. So when I first turned on, I was like, oh my god! And I've got to wear a headset. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those guys that can just do it with a microphone on the desk. I've got to be able to shut the world out. I've got to be able to hear the environment that I'm playing there, and I've got to be able to hear my own voice, so that I don't go into the microphone. So yeah, I've been doing it for such a long time in one way. As soon as I change something, I'm like, I'm not used to it. And this lighting is, I haven't even changed the lighting. It's just, I pushed a button somewhere and I've got to get it back because I've lost control. Anyway, here is Gaz. Yeah, super stoked with how he's looking at the moment. I'm just going to enlarge it on my screen so I can see a little bit better. There we go. As you can see, he's got a few spread out colours here and there, and he's got a huge great claw, and he's got a huge great gun, which I've not really done anything with it at the moment, but you will see there's a little bit of colour inside the armour where I've been painting his orc skin. Now, to do the orc skin, obviously the whole model was primed and dry brushed, as I did in the first episode. I thought I'd have a little go on the face. Here's his face, and I thought, you know, I really like the idea of just being able to do one coat contrast, get everything done. But I put this orc flesh skin on it, and it's just so dark. I just didn't like it. Just didn't like it at all. It was too dark. It was too. It was a really cold colour, and I wanted it a bit more bright. I wanted more yellow in that colour, basically. So I decided I'll let that contrast dry, and then I hit him with a little bit of Strachan green as a dry brush, and then let that dry, and then I did another lighter dry brush with Ogrin camo, and I think that was the colour that kind of saved it. They both worked really well. I can see the transition between the three greens in there, but the contrast has worked as a wash or as a stain, and it's kind of run into all the creases, and it's given them some really good features. And this is interesting for me because normally when I do the staining process, the wash process, it's always done afterwards, and then I'll like pick out highlights by dry brushing and things like that. That's what I would have done in the past. But what I've done is I've done that kind of staining process early by using the contrast and then just dry brushed over the top. That's been really cool. The detailing in has come out fantastically. So if I was to hold up this claw here, you can see the colour of his shoulder. I hold his face to it as well, you can see that there's a difference. It's all a little bit kind of stuck in shadow and stuff at the moment. So I've still got to dry brush the shoulders in there and the biceps. That's going to be a bit tricky. Every time I've painted it, I've realised that there's another bit of his arm that shows that I've not done properly. So I've made sure over the last few days that I've been around all the different angles of the different pieces to make sure that his arm, where it's exposed, is painted. On the actual model himself, I had to go back on myself a little bit because you can see this sort of where the arm joins in, but there's this sort of, I get a paintbrush to point with. There's this area here that you can see has been painted green. I painted it originally like a brown colour to match his trousers because I thought it was a tunic, but actually that's just the immensity of his shoulders and biceps and all his muscles and whatever. So I just picked it all out with white because it was still very dark in there. I didn't have to kind of stain it. And then I just went back over with the orc flesh colour. There's some stuff in here where his face is going to go on. I've pretty much kind of done everything that I'm going to do in there. I still need to kind of go over the greens with some dry brushing. So that's going to be my first thing today. Areas that I'm not happy about are the black areas. So pretty much everywhere that I'm going to do black has been done black, or almost. There's still a little bit more to do. But as you can see, I've been using the black contrast colour, which is Black Templar. And the problem with that is it just looks like it's gone on kind of like wishy-washy. You can see here that, like on his knee, for example, and the shin guards or goes around the back and his foot, that it's kind of, you can see the contrast of the white showing through underneath. It just doesn't look very good. So I'm going to carry on doing that all over his arm, and up on the top up here as well you can see the same thing. It just looks like it's half done, just not finished properly. Backpack as well. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on doing that for consistency across the model, but I'm probably going to go in and retouch it up later on with probably silvers to make it look metally. I've got this plate here, some chest plates to do all black as well. There's a little bit in the middle in there too. The jaw here, you can see that I was playing around with some reds yesterday to see how that came out. That came out really well, really like that. So the jaw is also going to be black, but if you look at the model on the box, what I'm going to have a go at later on is it's got a checker pattern on there. So I'm going to be very hard pressed to be able to try and pull that off with contrast. I bet someone who's well practiced will be able to do it. I'm not. So yeah, I'm going to just kind of freehand that in later on. So that's kind of where I'm at there. What I'm not particularly happy about also is how the silver went on as a contrast. I don't have a silver contrast. I mixed silver in with contrast medium until I got a consistency that I was happy with, and I got it to the point where you can see the primer and everything underneath, but the silver effect essentially is lost. So what I'm going to do is my normal silver work. That's obviously going to probably be an extrapolated feature throughout the whole build when it comes to all the different metal colours that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a lot of bronzes and heavy golds and things like that. So I'll just stain all my normal metallics down with a 50-50 wash of water and basilicon and grey, which is a grey contrast paint, which is what I normally do for all my silvers, and I know that that will look good. So it's at that point there that I really start to, and the checker pattern here, where I start to kind of use multiple techniques. And the other day when I was handling him as expected, I pulled the cable off of him, so later on I'll try and glue that back on. So the first things first, just to kind of warm up into this, I'm going to get stuck in by just dry brushing the orc flesh that's on him. Easier to do in here because it's nice and open, and then I'm going to get into the arms in here. I do like the way that his trousers have gone, so that is just snakebite leather contrast. There's a little bit of a tear in here, so I'm going to try and pick out with a detail brush his orc skin in there. And there's some details like stitches and things in there as well. And I want that to kind of stand out, so I will freehand pick those out with a detail brush much later. So yeah, there we go. That's kind of where I'm at. Done his the sash on the front, and obviously the spikes on his jaw, or gob, or whatever it's supposed to be called. There's a particular name for it, I'm sure. I might do a little bit of highlighting on it later on, just to kind of help accentuate the highlights and things that are already existing on there. But the trick is to not spend too much time doing that. Right? I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Here we go. Nice. Some comments going in. Stafford says, Jeff, thanks for the advice on the houses. Cheers, buddy. Flipping heck, did it work? So yeah, we were playing some games the other day. Stafford came over to my house because he was quite locally to me. was asking for advice on painting Normandy houses from World War II, and Steph, it'd be great if you could show some pictures of what it is that you're working on so that we can see that they are really nice buildings, to be fair. Anyway, happy Friday. Cheers. Been talking too much. Yum. Yeah, I don't like what it is that I've done with the lighting. It's really bothering me, actually. Okay. So, one of the brushes that I've been using for dry brushing in smaller, tighter areas is a base brush from Citadel. I don't like the brushes from Citadel at all. I think Citadel makes some really nice paints. Their brushes are just not for me, I think would be a nice way of saying it. So, yeah. Anyway, gonna have to give this paint a bit of a shake. I haven't used them for, well, just under a week. This one here really separates. It kind of goes all blue and inky. It's a bit crazy. And of course, I'm just gonna stop it shaking it. See if Stafford gets a chance to get in there now. Is he gonna say it? Gonna stick it on the Easy 8 patent pended WAAAGGGHHH. It's not patent pending. In case there's a lawyer out there going, is it actually patent pending? No, it's just a little nail varnish shaker. What is? Look at my lighting. It's all over the place. I really need to sort all this out. It's gonna be my next thing, I think. Get some decent lighting in here. Stafford says, I'm painting shutters. Yeah, man, shutters. You gotta do the long haul work sometimes, though. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna get a bit of paper because I'm gonna be doing some dry brushing. Now I know I shouldn't be using a bit of paper. I know I shouldn't be using like tissue, definitely, to do my like dry brushing effects, like removing all that paint. You should use a texture palette. Well, I don't have one, so yeah. I'm just going to use a bit of Strachan Green. Now I could just go straight to the Green Camo, because I think it is the colour that did a lot of the work. But I can see the stages of dry brushing. I can see the two different colours on top of that original green. So I'm going to stay consistent, at least across this whole build. Now, mostly removed the paint from the brush. I'm going to add a little bit of water, just a touch of water to the brush. That's key to dry brushing success. But also using a texture palette is like the thing to do. Okay, so just going to start in here, nice and light. Casting a lot of shadows all over the place. Yeah, with my lighting, I think I just I hit like a saturation button or like an exposure button, and I've gone back through all my settings and made sure that it's all fine, but I feel very bleached out today. Jeff says, what did you think of those stubby dry brushes that you were using? Any good? Yes and no. They are, as far as I can see, an attempt at copying the brushes from Artis Opus. They are much more affordable through Army Painter. Kez let me use them. They were hers, so I was able to have a go, and I was struggling with them. But they are very, very different in their overall design when you compare them to the Artis Opus ones. They're very short bristle and they're actually quite flat. Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups. The Artis Opus ones, and a part of their design is, quite openly so, that's supposed to be quite long in the bristle, so you got like a lot of volume, and it's supposed to be quite rounded, because you're not just kind of going side to side. You're actually kind of sweeping in an arc, and that's giving you the full exposure to the bristles as you're kind of moving through them. And I think that because I knew that, I was trying to do that when I was using those brushes, and the effect was just not, it just wasn't happening at all, and I really, really struggled with them. Had I just tried to do normal dry brushing, maybe it would have worked. I'd really like to have a go with Artis Opus ones, just that if you want to get the biggest one, which you should always use the bigger one that you can, it's 80 quid. And while I'm up for spending money on stuff to try it out, I just didn't have that to hand at the time. I would like to do it, Perhaps I will do it in the new year, and I'll do like a little product review thing. I do occasionally do like a little product review every now and then, and it'll be nice to have a go. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to like really throw myself into it, because it's an expensive investment. It's an investment for life. If you watch the videos on Artis Opus, he is so good at it that it kind of makes it look easier than what it is, and I think that it's quite easy to think that you'll be able to pull it off straight away, but it takes a lot of practice. So, and also because he's so good at it, I think that he uses it in some of his demonstrations as the only style of painting. But like I'm proving to myself here, that it's good to have different techniques for different things. So you should be able to turn to your dry brushing in a particular part of your model that you're making, as should always be the case, right? Tell me if the brightness levels are all over the place. If I'm putting my hand in the way, is it really blocking what you're seeing? Is it causing you issues? I'm trying to move my light around here. Yeah, in an attempt to improve my workflow and my quality of my streaming, I think I'm starting to ruin things, and I don't want to disrupt the quality. Anyway, as you can see already, that green has been entirely changed by the introduction here of Strachan green. What we've got is the shading underneath with the primer and the dry brushing from last week, adding highlights and depth already. And where the green contrast paint's gone in there, it's turned the shadows to like a really dark green rather than black, and that's really complementing the colour that you put in there. That's done. Cool. His body is done with that colour. Now I need to kind of get into the biceps in here. So this is going to be a little bit trickier. This is going to be the easier arm, I think. Just kind of got to work my way in there. Then I've got to get into this little area, so I'm going to use like a set of different brushes, just literally naff brushes that have like a good shape for dry brushing, that I'm not too fussed about how the quality of the brush is going to look at the end. They also have to be soft enough as well. Like if they're too harsh, if they're too flicky, they end up feeling quite scratchy, and I don't get the same effect. Not with my brushes anyway. Jeff says, I spent the last 3 days hot gluing rubberized horsehair onto rather a lot of bocage sections. I've burnt my fingers so many times I don't have any fingerprints left. Still got a ton to do. Yes. And do you remember when I burnt my fingers with a hot glue gun? It's not just it's a deep set burn that stays with you for a while. So if you're using a hot glue gun, be careful. I mean, be careful all the time, right? But just, yeah, hot glue guns, man. The glue just dripped out the side of the mould that I was making, and I had squeezing the mould together, and it was on my finger, and I pushed into it, and it went right into the pad of my fingertip. But I knew if I let go of the mould, all the silicone would leak out all over the place, so I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I took it for the team. But I'm going on a bit heavy on this arm here, so I'm just going to make sure that I haven't got too much in the brush. I'm just going to take my time. So, yeah, on my monitor it looks a little bit weird because in here it just looks like it's black, but I can see quite clearly in front of me is quite a noticeable green. I'm trying to get the brighter area of this bicep, the bit that was dry brushed white, trying to get that to really shine this green colour out. It doesn't really have to go much anywhere else. As always, struggling with my words. But as soon as I start coming in with these newer greens, they really start to stand out from the rest of the model, which is what I want. I want the whole model to be very, very dark with contrast popping through. That will help with the grittier, grimier feeling, and it will kind of show the orc separate from the rest of the machine. Because he's supposed to be wearing a giant power suit, right? I really like the fact that this fist is the same size as a Space Marine. I've measured it. It is the same size as a Space Marine, and he fits very neatly in here. And he's got these like forward-facing barbs that are just, yeah, nasty stuff, right? Anyway, done that one. Moving on to this one. So this one here, the bicep is quite easy to see. Sorry, the shoulder's quite easy to see, but the bicep's a little bit more hidden behind this giant piston. So really looking forward to when these go on though, because it's going to make the whole build look really, really cool. Just says, just drawn up the next build, sketch only, 2 rows of French timber framed houses. Yeah, you were talking about those the other week. I'm really excited about that. Timber framed houses are my favourite design of house. Sounds like a bit of a rubbish thing to have a favourite thing of, but yeah, I just like the look of timber framed houses, like all the Tudor stuff as well, like all the white buildings with the black wooden frames. You see a lot of them in like York and Warwick. Deliberately not adding any extra paint to the paintbrush at this stage, because if I do, I just run the risk of kind of spreading it all over the rest of the unpainted parts. Yeah. Is that going to work? This is why I've done sub-assemblies as well. It's exactly why I'm doing it this way. You know what? That'll do. That'll do. Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, the last little bit here is to do the bit in and around the tongue here. So this is going to be quite difficult, so I'm not going to use this brush now. So I'm just going to get like a little rubbishy thin brush. This is the one that I used to use for my details, but as you can see, synthetic brush, the bristles have started to separate at the end. That's a real shame, but you know, it happens, I suppose. So no longer will I be using that one for any of those tiny little details, but I've kept it because sometimes it might become really useful, like right now. Simple as that. Now I'm hoping that the colour of his face will really stand out against what's potentially the dark area of the suit, so it kind of draws your attention in, you know. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, cool. Right, so back to shoulders, because we're going to move away from Strachan green. We're going to go to Hog Green Camo. If I should give this one a good old shake as well. Show the two side by side, you can see the two different colours and why I like at the moment using the two of them. It's making my voice go Here we go on the WAAAGGGHHHH. Here's some whistling while you wait. Jaunty little tune, I made it up. Go. So really, really bright when I can compare these two to the contrast colour. Yeah, quite different, quite different. A nice set of layers. So, going to go even lighter on this set of dry brushing, because this is obviously the highlight bit, right? Introduce a little bit of water to the bristles again, just a tiny amount. There we go. I had a real hard time deciding what colour the orc flesh for my orcs was going to be. And I've seen some wonderful ideas over the years. Just people, you know, painting orcs. I've seen people paint brown orcs. That looks really good. And just this morning, someone on Instagram put up a picture of them painting an orc for Orktober, and it's just human flesh skin color, and it looks really good. Some people like paint them like really vibrant greens, like the old classic Games Workshop stuff, which is kind of like, you know, this color. It's actually called Goblin Green, that one. Or, you know, even like really electric colors and things. And I kind of wanted to keep mine toned down, which is why I started with the contrast color. But it was just too dark, and as I painted it on, I thought to myself, this isn't where I wanted to be with it. So I started highlighting the colors up, and yeah, I quite like these brighter green tones. There we go, there's the body done there. So back to the claw. The claw. Sometimes these skewers with the corks on the end are really useful. Sometimes they're really not. Let's move Gaz out of the way. Yeah. Now what I've got is the contrast from the original contrast green. Got really dark. Not even a shadow, it's just an area. And it really works. Some really coarse highlights going in. Nice. Now for the gun arm. That's cool. That looks good. Now, just a little bit on those biceps. Just need a tiny bit more in there, I think. Literally just like the tiniest amount. Yeah, if you're looking for it, you can see it, and that's kind of what I wanted there. Right, so of course now the last bit is this tiny little brush to do the bit around his face. Can't tell if that's supposed to be a shirt around the sides there, because obviously that would be his shoulders. Looks like he's got some stitches, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there. I'll work it out as I start to paint it a bit more, I think. Okay, I'm happy with the green. The green is good. Right, let's wash some brushes out. How's the shutter painting going, says Jeff. If you get good at it, I've got a massive plantation house to make soon. All windows and shutters. Want a job? This is what happens when you get good stuff, you see. People want you to go and do their things. Tread carefully, mate. Tread carefully. Okay. You go there, brush. Wonderful. So, what areas did I want to do now? I think I'm going to do the black here. I saved these bits because I kind of wanted to show you how difficult I was finding it using the black. You'd think that it would be a simple case of just slapping on the contrast paint, on it goes. Hasn't been that easy. I was trying all sorts of different consistencies of, you know, water to paint ratio, or adding extra contrast, medium, etc., etc. And I found it really, really difficult. In the end, I just started putting it on neat, and then was just kind of wicking it away. Because if I put it on too neat, it kind of just hits the effect underneath. If I put it on too thin, it just runs around all over the place and doesn't do anything at all. I hate shutters. Right. I'm really sorry to hear that stuff. Gonna use my number 0, and I'm gonna do some Black Templar. Although I've also got Silicanum Grey, and I'm kind of keen to give that a try as well. So what I might do is that there's some chest plates just inside in there. So not this bit, not these bits, but just in there. I might use that because it's quite hidden and shadowed. If I don't like what I do, I can always go over it. So I might give the contrast grey a go. Now these ones have always got like a silty bottom, because it's almost like they're kind of clayey, if that makes sense. This stuff I think I dislike something more than painting tracks. Painting tracks is a faff though, isn't it? Boring. Starting to break up a little bit. Break up a bit more. Get that pigment in there. It's happening. Wazamatic time. This needs a really good old mix. Making the hand go funny. Here we go. You can see it's kind of mixed in there. A bit weird. Right. Because it looks pretty black, right? It looks pretty black. So I'm just kind of interested to see what it'll do. Here we go. I like the Silicanum Grey. When you water it down, it works really well as a wash over silver. Now I can see when I'm putting it in the black spot in my palette, I can see that it is grey. Yeah, it's definitely a grey colour. Also, I haven't chosen the easiest place to paint it to give it a try. You guys have got to just stop saying WAS, by the way. So this particular paint is much thinner than the black. So yeah, I'm going to just go for it. I'm just going to do it here as well. So the effect underneath shows through much easier than it was on the black colour. Got a little bit of paint on the red. There we go. Now to me, I can see a difference between the black and the grey. So just really wanted to give that a try. I'll let it dry and see the difference. What I'm going to carry on doing now is I'm just going to do the black on here and on here, and I should be able to see quite a difference. Yeah, I don't know if I like it. Always worth having a go though. Gaz is looking good, mate. Hitting those heart symbols. Thank you very much. I'm just surprised by like how quick he's coming on. Here we go. Just giving that paint a whiz. Gotta stir it, gotta mix it. Oh, it sounds rough. I think my Wasamatic might be dying. Anyway, mixes the paints up, is all I needed to do for now. Okay. Definitely a thicker, heavier paint. Much stronger on the old pigments. I don't know if you can see the difference there between, like, basically it's all about the intensity, the opacity of that colour. I suppose like every brand as well is gonna have its own properties and unique qualities, and if you're one of those people that likes to have lots of different brands of paint, then you can like chop and change between each one as you see fit. What I do now is just come in with a clean brush and just lift out some of the pigment there where it's kind of settled or pooled a little bit too much. What I think I'm going to do, where the white is showing through all those creases, is later on I'll just come in with a little bit of silver and just pick out those areas, and it just hopefully will make it look a bit more, I don't know, rougher, a little bit more metal made. Now I'm still going to do the whole jaw in this colour as well, and then later on I'll come in with the white. I'll pick up all the white areas, and then I'll polish up all the black in the same way that I'm going to do black across the whole build, just by basically adding a little bit of silver, and I'll do the white at the same time. Well, now I'm looking at the way that the grey is dried, I do quite like it. Oh well, too late now. Gotta learn to give things a chance. Right, let's see where I need to be. I need to be on the inside in there. Okay, I'm also gonna do the outside of his jaw now. Ooh. What I'm really enjoying is just having a go at all of this. It doesn't matter to me if it isn't the best one in the world, and I'm definitely a fusspot when it comes to perfection and I can get really precious about the silliest of things, and it's nice to be able to kind of go into a project, and as part of that project, it's to not be precious about it. There are sometimes when I do something, I do think, oh, I could just do this or I could just do that, but the whole idea is just to have fun and do something different, because it's not part of an existing army that I'm painting. Kind of, it's given me quite a bit of freedom, and I'm really enjoying that actually. I've got an old hexagonal pot of goblin green. I think this thing is too far gone even for a WAAAGG. You would be surprised, I think. I see occasionally, like on a Facebook group or something, someone finds one of the old pots of paint from 1992 or something, and they've managed to actually recover it through a process of rituals and sacrifice. Probably like adding thinners and shaking it and doing all sorts. They don't always come out completely perfectly, but in some cases it's actually better than what they were initially intended. I'm looking at the detail here. On the other side of this, I suppose, fang, this spike here, there's a bolt with a nut and bolt on the outside, and on the inside, the back of the bolt comes through and it's got a split pin in it. It's incredible detail. I don't think that the camera would pick that up. You can just see there's like a white dot here. I don't think the camera would really pick that up right now. I would take a photo of that because I think everyone deserves to see that. Now you'll notice that I'm leaving the archway above where his head's going to go, because on the box art, if I bring that back up again, you can see that they picked that out in silver, and I think it's quite important to have bits like that because it helps break up the monotony of the very dominating colour, which is black here. Of course he is supposed to be black, but you know, I don't want it to be lost. Also just notice that he's got some checkers on his shoulder where his gun is as well, so that's something that I can consider doing later on. But definitely want to get it on his jaw. I think that's what's going to look the coolest. I'll see how much time I've got, because by that point I'll probably be getting quite to the end of the project. Okay, that is looking pretty fun. I am just going to get a little bit of black in here where I haven't done a very good job of covering the colour, and I want that to be quite shadowed. I suppose I can actually go underneath as well. Here we go. Haven't done this bit. And come underneath the shoulder armour there. Didn't do a very good job of it here either. Okay, that's cool. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over and pick out a load of silver bits, like the claws and the plates and stuff on the bottom of his feet. I'm thinking that I'm going to do shin guards on him silver as well. Again, just to break up the monotony of the overall colour. Having a quick look here, they seem to have done a very, very similar idea. So yeah, just kind of breaking up all of the black on there, which is fine. That's cool. Check, looking around, making sure I've got all the areas. He's got a belt, I might pick that out at a later date. When he gets to things like pistons and all the mechanics around the top of his hip up here, I'm going to make sure that all the piston rams or rods are all like bright silver, and then any sort of cowls or coverings or extra bits attached to them, just to kind of break it all up again. Going to introduce a lot of bronzes and brasses. Yeah, I want him to look really quite thrown together, but still very functional. That's the crazy thing about orcs. No one really knows how they actually get away with it all. Right, let's put this down. Doing some silvers. Moving away from contrasts for a moment now as well. Back into familiar territory. We're using chainmail. Just saw John's Stormtrooper, very nice. Yeah, so those of you that are wondering what we're talking about, that's John over at Out of This World Models and Minis. It is epic, isn't it? I made a little comment on it earlier on. He's used the same, I think, he's used the same griming technique, paint, as he did on the Special Edition Dalek, Special Weapons Dalek. And it's, I forget which brand it's from. Is it from Abteilung? I can't remember what you said it was now, but it's called Starship Grime, and it's the perfect colour for white. It works really, really well. Wazzing again. Getting lots of waz today. Oh yeah, my Wazomatic is dying. A Wazza went. Very particular about where I'm going to be putting colours on my palette. Okie doke. So I'm going to start at the feet because there's some obvious features that I want to look at down here, and I've got claws, and I've got some pistons, I've got shin guards, I've got these little features on the front here that hold up this sort of, I don't know, charm of teeth. I've got this hood in here that I'm going to do. There's a little grate on the top in there as well. And yeah, I don't know what else I'm going to do in silver. I want to do a lot of brasses and bronzes and stuff on the backpack. So yeah, can you at least get those done? And of course, I haven't really done anything to the arms yet. So kind of want to get some black on there as well, right? So all of these silver components are all going to be painted straight up silver, not messing around with that slap chop style, even though that they've been based like it. I just didn't like the overall look. And then I'm going to go over it with a wash of Basilicon and grey, mixed 50-50 with water, because that's one of those cool things that I've learned that I like, and it works for me. And I want the silver to pop against the rest of the rest of the model, so yeah. So there's a few details in these metal parts here, so there's some scratches and dents and things like that, and I am covering them up as I go over with the silver colour, but those details will come back out with a simple wash. I get so turned around sometimes. Where am I actually painting? I've moved it around. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Quite satisfying little bits to paint actually, but just fun little shapes. Touch that bit with my fingers, that's going to go everywhere now. Yeah, just sort of fun shapes. Not very complex, a little bit tricky just to kind of get on the inside of them, make sure that you're getting all the angles. Desperately trying to make sure I don't touch the other bits I've just painted. I've said it before, silver is just a horrid crawler. Once you paint it on something, you'll pick it up on your hands. If you're as clumsy as I am, it'll start being on other surfaces you didn't realise you'd touch. Excuse me. Do you remember those adverts, sort of like 20 years ago, if not longer, where they were like trying to demonstrate the spread of bacteria in the kitchen, like a dish soap advert or something, and they had it like highlighted under a special light. The person who was doing the dishes would, you know, touch another surface, and it would spread here, and it would spread there, and it was on the washcloth, and it was on their face, and it was on the that's what silver does. It just gets everywhere. Stop saying that's it, gonna go paint a tank instead. Yeah, split it up, do a tank and then do a house. Do a tank, do a house. You said that Jeff helped you with your colour scheme designs or whatever. That's great to hear, by the way. That's exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. You know, share some skills, share some knowledge, but also would love to see if you've actually got like one using somebody else's suggestions or whatever. It'd be great to see that on Facebook. Little dry lump in the paint dance. I think I got it. So I've done the front claws there. I'm just going to do the back claws on him. He's got like, I don't know, grippy talon bits. I've got several different like silver colours to use as well. I've got like a really bright silver. This is like the middle of my tones, so I might use that on like the piston rods because it will be it'll really stand out, and it will show off against the rest of the silvers. But I've also got like a gunmetal silver, and I just don't like it. I don't have a place for it. So yeah, don't think I'll use that one. I'll use my 2 lighter silvers, and I'll use some like bronzes and things. I'm gonna try and stay away from gold, even though would probably look quite nice in the rest, the rest of this model. But I use a lot of gold in my Mechanicus models, my Skitarii, so I'm gonna just stay away from that. I think just explore different colours as well as techniques. Already his feet have got quite a lot of character against the rest of the build, so yeah, it's looking really cool. We are pretty much at time for a break. Normally I've gone for a break by now, so yeah, let's get ready for one of those. My camera's struggling a little bit, it's a bit jittery. So I apologise if that's been affecting the show. As I've said, I've been experiencing some technical issues from the outset today, kind of throw me off a little bit. I apologise for that. It could also be that I've got like some background things going on in the computer that could be taking up a lot of my processing. So yeah, I always try to avoid that, but yeah, I think it might actually be the software again doing stuff in the background, and that really bugs me. But overall, I'm actually thinking about getting rid of this camera here. I brought it in to try and improve the quality of the detail that you see here on the table. Right now I'm watching it being very having some very jittery problems with it, but it hasn't got a lot of the attributes that I was really looking for in a camera. So I think I'm actually going to move back to my original setup before I explore alternatives again. What I'm trying to always do is just deliver the best quality that I can in terms of visuals, so that you can see clearly what it is that I'm doing. Yeah, and I just don't think that this camera is really doing it very well. Okay, got some good silver there. That's done a good job. I'm just going to put old gas down. I'm going to wash out my brush, and I'm going to go for a quick break. Jeff says only jitters when it's in the corner pick. What, down here, like here, like in this screen here, or you talk about like my face when it's up in the top? Up in the top. Painting my latest edition, an E100. It's a very big German tank. They were trying to standardise their design. I think the theoretical 100-ton tank. Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Right, I'm gonna disappear for a quick 10 minutes. You should also disappear for a quick 10-minute break. Whatever it is that you're gonna go and do, you should definitely go change your water for your paint, because it's probably dirty. Bye. Hello, welcome back. Hope you had a good break. I didn't really go anywhere. I've just been continually painting silver. The more I look at it, the more I realise I want more silver to be on him, and I realise I've got a little bit of work to do, so that's all I'm doing really. It's just making sure that what it looks like to be is that the kind of suit that he's wearing seems to be all made of metal, and then there's like plates kind of put over it. So trying to kind of paint everything underneath silver, and then, you know, the bits on top. Kind of like the way that I painted all my robots for AdMech as well, for the Skitari. So I'm calling them AdMech recently. I always called them Skitari in the past. Whatever. Anyway. Welcome back. Happy Friday. I normally have like a boozy drink at this point in the show, but I kind of ran out. That's not because I've got a problem and I drank myself excessively. I just haven't got any. But I hope you're having a great evening. If you are just joining us here, I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're having a wonderful time painting all your projects. I genuinely would love to see them. So if you're so inclined, take a little photograph, stick it up over on EasyEight's Facebook page. There's a link to that just down there somewhere. I'm just looking at one now that Jeff's put over. He's in the live chat right now. He was talking about a sketch for his medieval timber-framed houses. It's a really nice sketch. I really like it. I wish I could draw. When I was a kid, I kind of got into drawing. And then I stopped, and I'm just kind of rubbish at it really, which is a shame. But yeah, I can see. You saying it's only a basic sketch, but I can see exactly your vision, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that kind of come alive as you build it. So regular updates, please. That'll be lush. Wonderful. Staff, how are you getting on painting your tanks slash window shutters? Excuse me. Sounds like you're having a bit of a mare of it there today. I have just noticed that the live chat disconnected and then reconnected. I've never ever seen that before. I'm definitely having some touchy little issues today. I apologise for the drop-in quality, for the nuclear glow that is across my face sometimes, jittery cameras, and just generally the drop-in delivery. It's not okay. You should write a strongly worded letter to my producer. It's me. Cool. I'm going to just nip back to the workbench and carry on painting Gaz. If you do like what we do here, it gets better, I promise. It's a little bit rough around the edges today. Please do consider subscribing. I will do my very best to make the show better. I can see someone's hitting the hearts there. Thanks very much for the hearts. Just keep smashing those hearts all the time. I wonder if they show up in the replay. I've never checked for that. Hearts, man. Cool. Yeah. Gonna take you to the workbench. Here we go. So he's lying face down at the moment, and I'm just kind of painting in and around all these big metal plates. I'm using this really old brush because it's got really, really thin bristles. But again, I don't know if you can see very well here that those bristles are splitting. It's really hard to kind of keep on top of the quality of these. I'm going to have to get some smaller brushes. That's going to have to be my next investment. And the reason I'm using them is because down by his feet, in between these plates here, I'm having a real mare trying to get in there. So I load up the brush and desperately try to keep those bristles together, and then just paint between the plates. Now fortunately the silver that I'm using stays wet for quite some time. Bloody big tracks are so easy to paint. If I do get it all over the place, that I can just come in and just wipe it off, and that is really helpful because apparently I'm terrible at painting. And again, I've got to get in here, so I don't know if you can see so well, but there's silver here, there's silver here, and I want to kind of join the two. It's very hard to see there because of the angle of the model. Trust me, right? One of the reasons why I want to go back to my original camera setup and get rid of this one that's looking down, I kind of got absorbed into this as a webcam. It's a very good webcam. It doesn't have an autofocus, which autofocus was kind of driving me potty on the other one. Or focus just in general was kind of driving me potty because you're either here focused in, here or focused in, but if you have autofocus, it constantly changes between the two, and I was struggling to, you know, deliver quality. This one just has a really good depth of focus. I hope I'm using the right term there. I'm not really a cameras guy. It captures motion really well. It's got a really good sort of frame rate. but it's not really designed for this, and I'm gonna be honest, I kind of knew that going into it. I was just hoping it was gonna be a good camera for this sort of task. So what I'm gonna have to do is actually get a mirrorless camera, like a proper digital thing. That is gonna cost some serious dollar, so bear with me while I work on that. I do want to do it. It is going to happen. It's not just a simple case of getting a camera, because I run extensive show lengths, like being 2 hours. Cameras actually will just overheat in that time, so I have to get like dummy batteries and things like that as well, so that they don't run off of their own internal batteries, a power source. They will run off of like a plug socket that has to go into where the battery goes into. Look at you learning so much about cameras today. I'm struggling with this bristle. So yeah, that'll be my next thing, and that should hopefully give me really good camera quality. What I'm gonna do actually, probably straight after this show, is switch back to the old camera setup. I might use this camera here for up here, hello, because it's what it's designed for. So play around with it, mix them all up. Like I say, I just want to bring you the best quality to keep you company while you're painting your miniatures. These bristles are splitting. I can't paint with that. That is terrible. Jeff says, what's the rules on the E100 then? Roads only and no bridges? If I am talking correctly, it doesn't have any rules because it's an experimental build. It's an experimental machine. One of those designs like the Rat, as far as I'm aware. So I don't think that it's in the game that we play, What a Tanker. Just a fun one to paint up. You could, of course, make your own rules up for it. If that is the case, what would you do, Staff? Well, I've got to get this in there. Oh, I'm really struggling with the my bristle choices today. Okay, I'm just going to have to really take my time, I think. Got an army painted brush that might do the job. This one might just go flat and might actually do the job. Let's have a little look. A bit more paint. Trying to paint between the lines without kind of slapping paint all over the place. Proven to be just a little bit of a challenge. Okay, I can actually kind of simulate thin bristles by making this one really flat, so it kind of widens out, and spin it around, it goes thin. Yeah, there are no rules. It was never actually built. Yeah, I didn't think so. I've got the mouse that that was never used. They only made like a couple of prototypes and of different materials and qualities between each one. But I still got a model for it. It'll still be fun to kind of build it and have it on the table and make it an objective to destroy or something. Yeah, I am struggling painting between these little gaps. What I think I'm going to do is, where's my brush gone? So I'm just going to go for it. Be nice and fast. Have a tissue on standby. Clean my brush out and clean up the overspill, I think is what I'm going to have to do here. Because my small brushes are just dead now. They're dead to me. So in there. In there. Okay. Clean the brush out. Wipe it off on the tissue. Now I'm going to be doing silver damage and detail and stuff on these black bits, but there's a difference between slapped on paint that you didn't get right to a specific deliberate attempt to try and do damage or wear and tear or whatever. So while I could get away with it, I'm trying to not fall into that mindset. That went alright, that was a good bit. Okay, so I'm just going to have a little check around this whole shin. again. Between these metal plates. This one went a little bit easier. Okay, wash the brush out. Clean it off. Just a little bit of water does help. And then just go around the edges there. Just clean up that area. This is one of those bits as well that I suppose I could lose quite a bit of time on, that I should just try to not be so precious. Do the best job I can, neaten up around it. It was designed to be big boy. It's got a 128.8mm gun, flipping heck. Yeah, and like you're saying there's no rules for the Sturmtiger either, just because it's not really that kind of a game. If you're playing something like bolt action or Flames of War even, I suppose, I don't really know if there is rules for a Sturmtiger or tanks at that sort of level, but it's all about taking out large areas, denying bunkers and fields and stuff to your enemies, because when a Sturmtiger fires its cannon, the small town will disintegrate, which is why it's not in a tank versus tank game. It's just designed for a little bit of fun. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do here is paint a little ball socket in here, silver, and then I'll do the ring and this bit here like bronze or brass colour, and just kind of have some fun with different metallics. And then the pistons I'm going to do like bright silver. There's some covers on them that I'll do like other bronzes and brasses and things. Oops, dropping. Okay, onto the other leg. So I haven't done the shin there at all. Just coming underneath there. Some little cables trawling down the side of his legs there, like that. It's a nice little touch. The whole idea of orcs with technology and guns and things like that is that they have no idea how to actually build it. They just have a go at it, and somehow it works. Oh, I've got a cat hair. Of course there's a cat hair. We haven't had one so far. Gonna need some tweezers. Give me some tweezers. It's kind of stuck to the model. Gotcha. Thank you very much, cats. It's even bigger than a panther. 123 tons, fully combat ready with 6 crew. That's pretty big, isn't it? Upload a photo next to the WAAAGGGHHH to show its size. It's even bigger than a panther. Old jokes are the best, right? Excuse me. Tickly cough. I will use one of the smaller brushes to get in there beside the sash, because this brush's got such a large belly for that size gap that I'll end up getting it all over the red, and I don't want that at all because it will show up no matter if I try to clean it up. Going around the back here. Just trying to be very careful about how I hold him, just making sure that I never touch anything that I've already painted. Like I say, silver will go everywhere. Lost track of where I painted. Okay. brush, isn't it? Clean off the brush. Dry it off in the towel. Get a bit of water in there. Okay, and then clean up on aisle 6. You can always go back in with a bit of black paint, just trying to keep the repair job as brief as possible. Should perhaps have done all the silverware before the black, but I didn't know what I wanted to do until I started painting it all. It's certainly looking okay though. It's looking pretty good. It's a house with guns, says Jeff. Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's a big tank. Oh, that bit went well. That was good. Good painting from me. Just a little bit of black there. I could probably go back in and do a better job here. I'm going to need some more paint. Massive. Not as big as the mouse. Oh, I thought it would have been bigger than the mouse. I've got the mouse somewhere here in a box. Oh, it's behind the curtain. I don't get out from the chair during the show. It's a cardinal rule, so I can't get it out to show you. Too much paint on my brush there. So where was I saying? Just down the side here, isn't it? When are we going to Bovington next? Yeah, okay, that has been a conversation in the community lately, hasn't it? People are wanting to go back to the Tank Museum. It's like you guys don't get sick of that place, which is great because neither do I. I would love to go again. There was talk about trying to get the community to go at some point at the end of October. I just don't know if I'm able to make that date because my program at that time is just not written at work because my manager is away on holiday in Japan. Happy holiday. But as soon as I know, I'll be able to confirm if I can do that date. But I also know that there's some people that really want to go that haven't been before that are unable to make that date. So I suppose we'll just kind of keep it as an option to something that we can do in the near future. I'm always up for going because tanks. So let's just keep that conversation open, keep reminding ourselves and each other about it, and let's get there when we can, yeah? Bit there that didn't look like it was painted, and as I was doing it, as I was painting it, I realised that it was just the shadow being cast over it. So now I've made a hell of a mess down there. That's not me getting precious, that's just me being silly. I'll have to go in and give it a bit of a neater job later on. Michael Turner has joined us. Yo, yo, yo. Hi, Mike Turner. How are you doing, sir? Been a little while since I've seen you on the show. I hope you are doing well. Are you painting any projects this evening? Are you joining in Orktober? Or are you just chilling out? Coming for a bit of company? Good choice for the company, by the way. Well done. Oh, I've done some pretty awful painting in there. This is holding me back a little bit today. I'm probably going to have to go back in with the black on that. Yeah, that silver has set. Little bit to do on the back. Oh, finishing touches, says Mike. To the Sisters of Battle. Not my finest work, but it's going to be the stewardship of my 6-year-old child currently trying to decide the colour of their hair. It's not always about it being quality work, though, is it, mate? Sometimes it's just about getting something done and having fun doing it, and that's the whole point. Or doing it for your 6-year-old, who I'm sure will love it because you did it. Okay, where's my little brush? Even though I'm having troubles with my little brush today, it's definitely the job that was made for it. So, let's get some silver on there. Even though it's a dying brush, it can still get into this little area here. It's just gonna go in just down there. Let me zoom in a bit. Boom, that was good. That was good. Ooh. Oh, it's a slightly tough one. Slightly intermediate today. Still got the same cup of tea going, it's probably cold now. Yeah, correct. But sometimes you just need that caffeine to keep you going. Right. What does everybody think about Gaz so far? I'm enjoying him, it's really good fun. So I'm going to... I realise he's actually got like pistons bars sticking out forwards that holds this codpiece in place. I thought that was just a part of the sprue system to kind of actually build them together, but no, it's actually built into the model. He's actually got potentially a piston ram codpiece. Can you see it in there? See the rams? That's funny. Okay, a little bit more silver here. And I'm going to do these little bits here for no other reason than it just breaks up the monotony of the colours already all over him. I need to get a bit more silver. It's very nice, mate. That's a nice silver. Yeah, it is a nice silver. Thank you very much, by the way. The silver is nice. I really like it. It's one of the better silvers that I've come across in terms of model silvers. I really like the true metals that I was using a little while ago. If you remember, this has got quite a while ago now. In the Vallejo range, the idea is that you put this over a gloss paint, as a gloss primer. You spray this on it, and it comes out like really nice true metals. But they can be quite garish on the smaller models. So it will definitely work on larger builds. It's very difficult to try to get my words right. If you're going to use that sort of metal, you kind of want to get the whole model almost kind of based in it, primed in it, and then to paint other colours over the top of it is the most arduous job I've ever had to do. So if you're going to do that, you've got to have reliable pigments to go over the top of that metal colour. Metallics are always difficult to paint over, and because I suppose these are more metal than any other colour I've used before, it just makes that job really, really difficult. So you get much better results, that get the truest results using an airbrush. So you've kind of got to do this whole volume of area to do. So you can't do details with it. So you kind of got like blast the whole model, then pick out your details with all the other colours. Not explaining myself very well, but yeah, you get the idea. But using this silver, it's nice. I like it. It's good. I would like to start using the true metal a bit more. So I've got like plans to do like a small Necron test run with it. I've been playing around with grime colours over the top of it, but I kind of lost the initial thing. I went too far, but I think I used the wrong colours. And going back to what we saw John using on his Stormtrooper and on his Dalek, that is absolutely the route that I need to be taking. So that's a future mini project later on. And this silver it really works when you put that little dark grey wash over it. I've got a little hair or something stuck in the bristles. Okay. Just trying to paint the edges of these little strips of steel or whatever they are. Done nicely. He's got lots of bolts and rivets over him that I'm going to pick all of those out later on down the line for sure. Excellent. He's also got some sort of steel tube cable thing, so I think I'm going to paint that silver as well. On all my Skitarii builds I was doing all these hoses like black, but I think on this one, just to make it different, I'm going to do it silver. Got a little bit of silver on that sash, that's distressed me. Trying to come up with a plan for magnetised flags for the tanks for initiative markers for what tanker. That's a good idea. Magnetised. Do you need to do it magnetised though? You could just do like penny stands on them because they'd be weighted. They only need to go beside your tank, don't they? Maybe I don't see the whole vision here. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, we have like an initiative tokens, markers, to tell you what order your tanks are activated in, because it's not like one side gets to go, the other side gets to go. It's all based on rolling initiative per individual tank, and then they kind of go in that order. And then in the book, there's like big printable numbers, which we printed off, but they are quite large. When you put them down beside your tank, they kind of cover up a lot of the nice looking terrain and the whole tank. So we were talking about having flags that you stand beside them, so that you kind of stands out, but without hiding all the cool models and stuff that you've made and painted. So that's kind of what we were talking about the other day. Do they need to be magnetised? Yeah, but attached to the tank would look cooler if your tank has been built with magnets in it, for sure. Yours have, but have the others? I suppose you could use them on yourself, in your own tanks. I would definitely like to see it happen. Make it so. Not being very precise with my painting today. Go back in, neaten that up again. Okay. I will run a little line of Nuln oil down beside this thing later on to hide bits that I was unable to clean up. I have some days where I've like got the most like precise hands ever, and then other times I couldn't colour in a colouring book with a crayon, you know. Rightio. That's cool. Yeah, definitely have to get a bit of Nuln in there. That's right. Nuln is now something that I don't mind using. It's a nice colour. They've changed the formula of it, and it's really cool. I like it. So all these pipes and stuff up here, going to do all of these in different brasses and bronzes, and well, I'm not going to do any of it traditional silvers or anything like that. So yeah, that'll be fine. Again, there's another hose in here. Going to pick these out silver and I'll wash them down with blacks and greys and things, just so that they stand out. I like doing black hoses. It was definitely a good move, but I want to make them stand out against the rest of the black. Okay, give that a rest for a second, because what I want to do now is just play with the different golds or bronze colours that I've got. Let's go through the different bronzes. So I've got a really bright silver here. Compare that to this one. You can see the difference there. So that's what I'm going to use on the piston rams. So that will look really cool. The bronzes. This is going back. This is old school Easy 8 here. Let's see if there's anybody in the house that remembers this. I bring you Brassy Brass. No, it's too nostalgic. It's too soon. We miss Kyle, right? I've also got bright bronze as well. So some different colours here. I think that rather than using the bronze colour, which is a nice bronze colour, I think I want to do quite a lot of the stuff with the Brassy Brass, and then I can use this as like some highlights or do little details and things like that. For example, on the big exhaust pipes here, I could do like brass pipe, but I could do like some of like the I don't know, the grill, whatever you want to call that little bit that sticks over there, in like a brass colour. I could mix in with some silvers and all sorts there, and just have some fun playing around with those colours. This funny little ball thing down here has always interested me in what it is. It looks kind of cool. It is painted in a brass colour or bronze colour. Yeah, on the back of the model. Where is it? Here it is. I like it, so I want to kind of emulate that. This will be a good way to go. I'm going to enjoy playing around with all the different sort of inks and shades and things on top of that. Bit of Agrax will do that as well. Yeah, this Jeff says, yeah, we miss Kyle. Sad it is. Yeah, I haven't spoken to Kyle for a long time. Two different worlds now. Kyle's life went in a different direction to mine at the conception of Easy 8. The Kyle Appreciation Society. We need to have that. He would love that. I have met Kyle several times, and he's super keen to kind of come back to Easy 8 because it is the brainchild of both of us together, and we made it together. But it came out during the pandemic. That's what it was about. It was about during lockdown bringing people together. That's what Easy 8 was all about to start with, and because of the pandemic, because of lockdown, and people didn't know what the future had in store for everybody, he moved away. Not too far away, but far enough to make it difficult to communicate. He lives even further out into the country than I do, and like mobile signal is difficult, internet is a rarity in those parts. He's a very private man when it comes to things like social media, and he is terrible at answering his phone, is the short of that. And sometimes I see him and he's like, yeah, I really want to come back to Easy 8. I'm going to be doing this in the future, but everyone's lives are different and personal, and he's just living his best life, doing what he's doing, and living with his partner and his dog, and working basically. So maybe one day we will see Kyle return, and I look forward to those days. But yeah, in the meantime, Kyle Appreciation Society, and your badges will be painted Brassy Brass. Yeah, it would be great to see Kyle again. I met him at two separate weddings, actually, for mutual friends of ours. And in both instances, he's like, yeah, I want to come back. And talking very excitedly about his plans. But yeah, I suppose things change, right? Things change. It's a really nice colour. It's probably going to need a second coat because it's quite patchy, and because of that previous slap chop technique under there, it isn't doing a very good thing for it underneath. That's the best way I could explain that. What I mean here is normally you want there to be quite a lot of white highlights underneath your slap chop, because the black is providing you with shadow and recess, and the white is what kind of gives you the vibrancy of the colour. Underneath it allows the colour to kind of shine through. But here on this particular colour, it's the black is the better. So it's kind of working opposite. So if you wanted to use this colour in slap chop, it's almost like you need to kind of plan where it is you want this colour to be, so that you can do different approaches with your slap chop style. Knowing that your brassy brass is going to be here, there and there, you would go, okay, I'm going to do more black areas, less dry brushing with the whites, so that it looks better. But for example, if I was to go back to the York flesh colour, that wouldn't have worked that way around. This is what I mean by the whole, I'm really learning things at the moment. Like I'm learning that it's not working very well for me for my metallics, but I really like the way that it's worked on the York skin. I really like the way, particularly with the sort of the trousers that he's kind of got in there, because you don't really need to see it. We need a little bit of colour to see that he's got some trousers in there, that he's got legs in there, that he's wearing a giant suit of power armor over the top. But we don't. His legs aren't the interesting parts. We need to see his face for the character that he is, and we need to see his huge, great weapons. So yeah, this is what I mean by cutting corners. I don't need to have all that focus drawn to that part of the model. Bloody predicted text. That's a cool colour. That's a cool colour. Need to get me some brassy brass. Yeah, brassy brass. We back in the early days of Easy 8, Kyle was talking about all the different metallics that he wanted to use. He was doing a really good job at his own sort of griming technique. He was actually just you basically base his miniatures black, and then he would just dry brush successive highlighted colours over the top for his Blood Angels, and it really was very, very effective. But he wanted to kind of experiment with different metallics, so I had like a Terminator model from a Space Marine Terminator, that is, from an old white dwarf from years and years ago, and I just did all the different metallics and washes and stains and things over it in different areas, and we had a jolly good old giggle at the name of Brassy Brass, because I've got Brassy Brass, Glorious Gold, Bright Bronze. Brassy Brass is just hilarious. It was so hilarious that when my moderator for Discord built the Discord server for Easy 8, he's actually got a separate channel just dedicated to Brassy Brass. So perhaps we'll see that part of Discord light back up again some point. If it's going to start getting a bit of a cult following. But like you say, it is a nice colour. It's very reminiscent of the old Tin Bits colour back from Citadel. It's a little bit brighter. But I intend to dull this down with a bit of Agrax. So I'm just making sure it's got good coverage now, and I'm not really going to go anywhere else with it. I'm going to do it all over the model, but not right now is what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to see what Agrax does to it, so that you get a bit more than just me struggling with some silver bits down here. What I'm quite looking forward to is the mixture of all the techniques. So I'm hoping that there'll be quite a nice sort of dry brush or rough looking slap chop style, but with bright contrasting colours and metallics and things. And I'm hoping that it's going to make the whole model look a little bit more, not rough, but rough. Yeah, just having fun exploring and playing and, stuff. I'm going to have a lot of fun moving on to these claws because obviously big focus point. We're looking at the weapons. Going to have some big talons on there. Got some big guns over here. I decided to not put the smoke on them, but lots and lots of detail and things on it as well. Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's got some big pistons in there. One can only assume that that's for recoil, right? A gun like that is going to tear your arms off if you were anything smaller than Ghazghkull. Super fun stuff. So, yeah. Because I ran over in the break a little bit, and today's show has really kept me jumping through a hoop. I'm a few minutes over, but I don't think that's a massive problem right now. But of course, we are coming to the end of the show. So, if you've got anything that you wanted to talk about, show off, ask, or whatever, now's the time to do it. I'm just going to give my Agrax Earthshade a good old shake. Things that are popping up on Easy 8 on Facebook. I'm just kind of waiting for that brassy brass to dry. Is Stafford taking pictures? Oh, he's taking pictures. He's put a picture of the E100. Oh, it is a beast, isn't it? It's not the one that I was thinking that it was, but now that I see it, I remember you talking about it. Yeah, it's got a massive turret, isn't it? It looks like almost like a mouse turret on top of a King Tiger or Tiger 2 chassis, although quite hard to see. An exciting thing though, isn't it, eh? Nice. Right. What I might do, because just down here, don't tell the other half, still got a hairdryer. So I'm just going to give Gaz a bit of a blast with that, just to help dry that metallic. Although it is pretty touch dry, I just want to make sure that before I go and put like a watery wash over the top of it, that it is perfectly dry. So just going to mute the old microphone a minute. Give me a second. Let's be honest, there's no way she didn't hear that, right? She must know I've got it still, come on. Right, so I'm just going to get from the pot, but I'm not going to put it straight on the model. I want a bit more control on it, so I'm going to stick it a little bit on my palette over here, out of sight. Wash the old brush off. And I will stick some photos of this straight away on Facebook, so that if my monitor, which I've never really felt that what I see here is true, you'll be able to see some nice quality photographs over on Facebook if you want to. What that does, as straight away, obviously it runs into all the details, so it kind of picks up all the lines and creases and things like that in there, but it adds a certain richness to the colour that is absolutely what I'm looking for. Darkens it down so it won't pop too much later on when the model is finished. Agrax is a nice colour, and they've definitely done a really good job when they re-recipeed their Nuln and their Agrax. I think a lot of it really is about the control of the substance rather than just kind of what it looks like. Nuln, I always struggled with Nuln quite famously. I even tried other products to get away from it, but since they've reinvented it, it's really good. Re-recipe. Bit patchy down there, so what I might do is just come in with a little bit of water perhaps and just See if I can move it around. I really like that. I might even use the bright bronze, or maybe even just add like a tiny bit of silver into the brassy brass to use as a highlight colour, just to kind of pick out the edges to make it stand out. But that is almost exactly what I wanted when you compare it to... You compare it to the back of the box here. Well done, me. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, happy with all of this. Still got a lot of work to do. I'm going to try and do a lot of focus on the legs, I think, for the rest of this evening. So if you fancy joining me, I'm going to be over on Discord channel, the Easy 8 After Party. There's a link just down there. We had a couple of new people join us last week. That's super cool. If you do want to join us, when you go to the Discord channel, the server, just go down the side for the channel and it just says rules. All you got to do is react to that. So you can like type something in, or I think it asks you to put like an emoji. So you can put a smiley face in there, whatever it is you want to put in there. And that allows the sort of the artificial overlord intelligence know that you have read the rules for the security of the community that use it, because Discord's a big community. Anyway, yeah, enough about that. Come and join us at the Easy 8 After Party. It's sick. And you can just kind of like join in with the video chat if you want to. You can put pictures up of your stuff. You can talk about stuff. You can just kind of watch me paint more if you want to. That's what I'm going to do. Carry on them legs and set up for the arms. Big guns, right? Big guns. Anyway, let's come away from here. Hi, yeah, there's just a lot going on today. Like the light's very bright. Oh, look, I'm bleaching out. What's that all about? It's strange. I don't know what's going on. Over the next week, I'm going to try and find some time to sort out all my technical issues, maybe swap the cameras out, and just kind of go backwards a little bit in my technology. I'm really sorry for the drop in quality. Look at it. What's that all about? Where's my face gone? I really apologise sincerely for the drop in quality. If you're new to Easy 8, it's better than this. I'm better than this. Not by much, but I am better than this. So yeah, anyway, I was just having a great time painting Gaz. I'm having a great time spending time with you guys, so thank you very much for coming along. I will be here next week to carry on Orktober, to kind of get some more work done on Gaz, and I'm going to try and find some time during the week to get more work done on him too, because even though it feels like he's coming on fast, I'm going to find a way to slow down, because that's what I do, right? I paint slow. Stafford says, it does look like a mouse turret, and the chassis is very Tiger 2ish, but it is bigger. Oh, okay, cool. Like you're saying, standardising their designs, right? Productive night. Well done on Gaz. See you next week. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really enjoying him. Jeff says, it's winter now. You're just pasty. It's rude. Thanks very much. It is so cold, isn't it? It's not that cold. Yeah. If you like what we do, please don't forget that subscribing really... Oh, look, we've got a little chat thing come up here. Thank you very much. It's all falling apart. For coming along, supporting with me, watching this far, enjoying me destroying what it is to be a live streamer. I'm so sorry. I will do better. In the meantime, you guys have been great. I've been Danny. Take care. See you next week. Carry on painting. See you soon. Bye-bye. I've somehow shoehorned my way through that show. Absolutely terrible.